Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and for what was meant to be Friday's video, what we're going to talk about is the frightening growth of media companies, online, TV, newspaper, radio, what have you, that are all billionaire owned, usually right wing billionaire owned. So, yeah, it's getting a bit scary. If it hasn't frightened you already, maybe you ought to be looking a little closer. But here's an article we have from Investopedia, and they talk about billionaires who have bought media publishers and the rich scooping up publishers at an alarming rate. Billionaires have a thing for media ownership. Deep-pocketed, high-profile investors who spent fortunes acquiring mass communication platforms, including newspapers, magazines, and even social networking services, particularly over the past few years. It isn't a completely new trend. For well over a century, the world's wealthiest have dominated the media landscape, with plenty of them still living large today, including the Bloomberg, Hearst, Newhouse, Murdoch, and Oschelsberger families. Yeah, I want you to consider when the rich control the media, the stream of information narrative. And like I said, we're talking newspapers, magazines, radio, television, social media, and other internet sites. Yeah, they're trying to have you believe what they want you to believe, not necessarily what is. Joining the long list of legendary names is a new club of investors with cash to burn and a belief that there's still money to be made or something else to be gained from owning a media business. So who are the big name billionaires who bought up publishers for the last few decades and turned plenty of heads in the process? Let's take a look. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. He also owns the website Twitter. And of course, Amazon is the company he founded. Purchased the Washington Post for $250 million in 2013. So he's had it a little over a decade now. But yeah, Twitch is also, like I said, one of the big things he owns. A lot of influence on that from people who just enjoy watching certain streamers, and so a lot of certain content gets out. John Henry of the Boston Globe. At the same time Bezos bought the Washington Post, Henry, who's a billionaire sports magnate, paid $70 million to purchase the Boston Globe away from the New York Times. Let's see. And he owns the Red Sox and the Liverpool Football Club, soccer. And Glenn Taylor, the Minnesota Star Tribune. He purchased it for nearly $100 million in 2014. He is a former Republican senator and owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Remember what I said. A lot of these billionaires are very much right-wing. Patrick Soon-Shiong, the Los Angeles Times. biotech entrepreneur best known for inventing the cancer drug Abraxane, and in 2018 purchased a number of publications, the Los Angeles Times, the San Diego Union Tribune, and a few others, from the company Trunk for $500 million. Um, Sheldon Adelson, a big right winger and huge donor to Trump. Of course, he passed away a little while back, but yeah, he and his wife were one of the ones who wanted Israel to take a lot more land to get rid of Gaza and all that. So, yeah, again, remember, they get to push narratives when they own more and more of the media. He purchased the Las Vegas Review Journal in 2015. Joe Manzueto Inc. and Fast Company. They purchased Inc. and Fast Company from G&J USA. I'm not sure who Inc. and Fast Company is, but again, I'm sure it isn't a good sign. Lauren Powell Jobs, The Atlantic. She bought a majority stake in the magazine The Atlantic in 2017 for just over $100 million. She is supposedly the widow of Steve Jobs. So yeah. Mark Benioff, Time Magazine, for $190 million in 2018. Chachaval Giaravanen bought Fortune Magazine in 2018 for $150 million. Elon Musk bought Twitter and changed it to that stupid name in 2022, $44 billion. And you see the shithole it's become. The most powerful media tycoon in the world is probably Rupert Murdoch, who has acquired a number of outlets and stuff, and he owns, well, at the time of this, owns the Fox Network, cable TV channel Fox News, Sky News in the UK, and the newspapers, the Times of London, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Post. Murdoch also owns many other media brands as well. Like we talked about, Bezos, Washington Post, Twitter, Amazon. Bottom line, it's no secret that newspapers, magazines, and the media industry as a whole is struggling to make money as they did in the past. Wealthy figures with cash to burn are stepping in to help ease the financial constraints and breathe life back into some of the country's most prestigious press institutions. The question many people are asking is what price media outlets may pay for the return for access to lots of capital and innovative ideas. These are billionaires willing to do whatever it takes to protect American journalism, I don't think they're out there to protect American journalism. Are these billionaires out there to protect American journalism and the quality of news reporting, even if it comes at a financial loss? Again, this is a money-based site, Investopedia. It's part of the whole Wikipedia thing, but yeah. Each new owner is an individual with its own goals and plans, but again, my point is, with so many billionaires owning media companies, it gets scary. Let's dig a little bit into Rupert Murdoch. We got who is Rupert Murdoch? He recently did step down as chairman of Fox and News Corp, but that allowed his son to step in. Yeah, because Rupert was 93. Lachlan Murdoch is the one who will take control. But yeah, groups like Fox News, evil. And he's allowed them to perpetuate so much BS. But besides the Murdochs, one of the big pieces of information going on is Larry Ellison and his son. I can't remember the son's name, but they're both David Murdoch. Okay. Yeah, they've recently purchased a lot of media companies. They're going to be one of the big names buying TikTok, and then they bought a huge share of Paramount, which gives them CBS, CNN, all this. And again, Larry Ellison, one of the richest men in the world. So yeah. And it isn't going to be good, because we're going to have so much of our media leaning to the right, and in a country that already leans right, because there's been such propaganda and BS pushed forth. Even though if you actually start asking people what they want, they lean more to the left. Things to help people. But yeah. Yeah, apparently Ellison, Rupert Murdoch and Michael Dell involved. When was this article? September 26th, so it's not that old. It's a fairly recent one. And then I brought up some stuff, the Wikipedia entries about about both Larry Ellison and Rupert Murdoch. But my point is this. We need to be wary of where our media goes from here. There honestly should be people out there trying to smash these trusts and monopolies that are devouring our media, so they can push their narratives. I want to go back and see a media that just talks about fucking facts. But we live in the post-fact world. You know, Fox News, Newsmax, all these companies can just spread lies, and it's accepted. That's the world we live in now. And it needs to end. It really does. We need a lot of things to happen to set the wheels in motion, to really just bring us back to decency as a nation, let alone greatness. I would just settle for a decent fucking nation. But Trump and the Republicans have so screwed over this country, it's going to take a long while to fix. A long while. But, yeah, I just wanted to talk about how so many billionaires are buying the media, the sources of what and who we think. Disney owns ABC, Ellison will now own CBS, and Discovery, Warner Brothers own NBC. I think that's who owns NBC. But yeah. And then out of those, they own so many of the other channels. There's really almost no alternatives. We're hitting this point. And honestly, it's frightening. It really, really is. I don't want people to panic. I'm just saying, be aware. Know what is going on. And say, okay, I have to find another way to source my material. Maybe that's what I ought to look into, is good, reliable sources. Because it sure as hell ain't a lot of these companies like Fox News, Newsmax, One America News, The Blaze, Breitbart, Daily Wire. All that shit's, well, shit. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting my links and sources in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.